Welcome to another episode of The Guy Code. I am Ronald. Sorry, now guys, I have been requested to publish this episode on this very timely topic of this lady was just come up in the TikTok scenes. She's called Sandy, most popularly known as Sandy Kababa, and this is a personality who has been able to attract the audience of very, very many young men. And the reason why she is able to attract this attention and garner this kind of audience, very large audience, is because all she does is talk to young men in a feminine voice and ask how they're doing and give quote-unquote words of affirmation and kisses through the phone and all that stuff. And she's very popular now, amassing millions of views, hundreds of thousands of likes. And now we're going to talk about it. Why is she so successful and been able to garner all the success? Now, first of all, guys, we have covered in other episodes, and I've covered in other episodes, whereby Kevin Samuel says that women should be the FBI. 3 qualities women should have: feminine, beautiful, inspirational, FBI acronym. And this is what we are seeing that Sandy is presenting from her videos. She's an attractive lady who is using femininity to reach out to men, right? Young guys. And she has amassed that following. She has maybe quite over 10 videos, last I checked on her profile, of her sharing such videos of, where she talks to these young men, calling them Kababa. Me personally, I haven't really followed up on her page, but I had to for the sake of covering this topic. I'm not on TikTok much myself, hardly on TikTok myself, actually. So when I had to go up in there and just get to see what this profile is looking like and how many videos she has up, they are just a little over 10, close to 15 now. And all she does is just present femininity. That's the first thing I thought in my head, like, oh, Kevin Samuels has talked to us about this. FBI, feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. And she covers the first 2 qualities very well, and it has amassed this popularity for her very, very quickly when she discovered this niche. And what you realize is that this is what men want you to bring to the table. This is what young guys are asking. What can you bring to the table? If you can just do that, like, men are very simple creatures. Even though most of our audience are young men, I'll say about younger than 25, and so is most of my audience, she is able to connect with them. And they are very simple. They just want a feminine woman to just talk to them in a way that is not demanding. I think for most of these men who are in these comments, they must be surrounded by ladies who are either always trying to tell them that they should get their game up, which in this era of social media, they have a lot of pressure because their age mates and their peers are probably getting attention from the older guys who are able to provide this lifestyle, and the young guys might also be pressured to provide this lifestyle, and they're just finally finding a lady online, though most of them don't know this lady personally, online persona, who is just giving them the words and the kindness that they have been yearning for, right? And we just can't ignore the fact that this is a big, big gap that it seems she is now filling. How long it will go, we don't know. But basically, this is what I got to understand first and foremost. This is what most of these guys want from women. This is what they hope to get when they ask, what do you bring to the table? Just bring femininity and authentic care. This lady, in all her videos, she's just asking, how are you doing? Some of these men don't even get this question authentically, like, how are you doing? Most of men are just, as long as you wake up, you're there to solve problems, which is masculine responsibility to solve problems. Can you solve people's problems? Yes. Whether you're okay or not is probably not, doesn't matter for the most part. Are you useful or are you not? So that's the first impression I got. Another thing is that, like I mentioned, for most of these men who are really getting to make her popular, is that they feel that no one checks on them, right? That no one is authentically and genuinely wants to know, are you okay? You know, how in some of these videos she's asking, have you eaten and all that stuff. Can she do anything about it? Not really. But the fact that these young men feel that this lady sounds like she genuinely cares if, you know, I'm nourished, if I'm okay, if I had a good day, you know. And these young guys are connecting with it and engaging with this content, because for the most part, when you're under 25, you're trying to build yourself. Unless you have something of worth that people can, you know, tap into, no one really cares about your day. Because if they weren't able to benefit from the skills you have right now, they don't care how your day went until you have something useful to provide to them and provide the marketplace professionally, corporately, or whatever, right? So the second thing I got to notice that very few of these men have people who actually check on them to ask them, how are you doing? Because if it's not Sandy, it might be no one else, you know? Also, I got to realize that most of these men really need verbal affirmation and hardly get it. And I got this from the comments. I've seen so many comments whereby guys are stating, and it could be satire and all that stuff, but there could be some truth in it, whereby they're saying that this video will take him up until next year, 2025. Like, this verbal affirmation from that 1 minute video is enough to boost his morale for a significant amount of time, because he hardly gets it. He hardly gets it. And clearly he needs it, even though most of men don't really get to express that they need this kind of verbal affirmation. They need this kind of, you know, verbal encouragement. They do, and when they get it, they're able to just make do with as long as it will take, you know, to run with that particular affirmation until another one comes, which he has already become used to, that they are few and far between now in his early 20s. And that's just the truth. And lastly, I got to notice, and when I got to see all her videos, I've just been seeing snippets of reposts on other platforms, of course, X being one of them, Twitter. I got to realize when I saw the whole playlist that none of these videos has she dressed provocatively, has she presented herself in a provocative, seductive manner. No. She just is laying with a t-shirt, you know, she wears glasses, and she's just talking to the guys. And I'm realizing that when you compare to other ladies who are trying to get male attention on these other platforms, TikTok and all that, whereby they're really trying to dress provocative, really trying to be super seductive, you know, doing all these challenges, showing their body, shaking their behind. It's interesting to notice that these men who are giving this lady now is probably the most likes in the Kenyan TikTok space right now. She's fully clothed, she's very decent looking, wearing t-shirts covered up all to the neck, hardly any cleavage, nothing, you know. And she's getting all this attention more than ladies right there who are trying to do challenges and dress skimpily. They're not giving them any attention. So men aren't as quote-unquote sexually deprived animals like some women might think, that, you know, only the women who are there dressed skimpily and showing off their body are the ones who are getting the most attention on these online spaces. Not really. You can just come online and just talk nicely and get this kind of attention and be the top female creator in the space for a season. So, and so far I just saw her interview. She got to be interviewed by some creators whereby she said that she has been receiving over 1,000 DMs and even including emails. You can only imagine what these men are telling her, you know. I don't think any of them are asking something overtly sexual of like send nudes and something like that. Probably they just want a friend. And it really is a situation whereby we get to reflect the state of young men right now, whereby there is such a gap of women who care for these young men and the words that are spoken over them and the words that they are used to hearing over them, very few seem to be encouraging. They have to encourage themselves. And it's something to reflect on. If you're friends with someone who's below 25, if they're your brother, if you're even dating them, something to consider, like if they really feel like they're connected to this online persona named Sandy, what does this entail of the environment that they are in as a society, socially, mentally, that they don't have these words and the confidence and the esteem that they feel that Sandy has come in and really got to fill a gap that they really felt that they needed to be filled and never got to voice it. So it's just something that we got to think about. And thank you for the ones who actually brought this to my attention. This will be an ongoing discussion. Will Sandy still be there? Will there be another one to come in and replace her? Who knows? But I think that it gets to us as a society to really reflect on who and what messages are young men receiving right now. And is Sandy a sole voice that we will hear for the long time? And will other people join in the space? Or do they even need to join into the space whereby just men just need to fortify their own mental space themselves? So this is just what I want to share on this episode. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. We hope to continue having this discussion on our Telegram and X Space, both at Guy Code Kenyan. Until next time, guys, we shall talk soon. Bye.
Guy Code with Rena Osware.